Welcome back to another 3 questions in 3 minutes with our power players in tourism and hospitality. I'm very excited to be joined today by Mara Manus, the Executive Director of the New York State Council on the Arts. Mara, thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure joining you today.
So I know that the Council provides funding and also education for arts. And funding for all kinds of arts, everything from architecture to dance performance to digital media as well. So I'm really curious to hear from you what the overall mission of the council is and what do you do in your day-to-day to make sure that those goals are met?
Sure. So the primary function of NYSCA is grant making to arts organizations and artists across all 62 counties of our state. Our goal is to create greater access to the arts, to arts funding, and ensure that the arts are really growing and thriving. Our funding reaches currently over 3,000 organizations across our state, and we do that both through direct funding as well as indirect funding through many re-grant partners across our state. They're really our boots on the ground. Day to day, my work changes on a daily or hourly basis, depending on what's going on in the world. But primarily, I'm here to lead and to set strategy. We have a phenomenal team at NYSCA, and it's really a joy to lead them.
I imagine that your work has changed a lot over the past couple of years with the pandemic and the arts being hit so hard with closures. Can you describe how the past few years have changed your work?
Sure. As you said, we were the hardest hit, the arts are one of the hardest hit sectors, not just in our state, but really across the nation. And we know that what we're facing is a multi-year recovery. We are so grateful to Governor Hochul and the New York State Legislature who provide historic funding to NYSCA this year, the amount of $140 million. And it really affirms the critical role that arts play in the health, not just our economy, but in our people. What we know is that when the arts thrive, our state soars. And so what we did this year, actually starting last year, is that we have completely overhauled and streamlined our grant-making process really in every way. And the overarching goal was, how do we create greater access to our dollars? And so we have a much simpler application this year. We have a much more user-friendly application portal. And we're really asking about how do you serve your field? And we want to make sure that everyone knows that our application portal is now open. And if you've never applied to NYSCA before, this is your year.
I know that you actually got your start. You have a long history working in the arts, and you've worked for the Arthur Miller Foundation and the Public Theater at New York City. So I wonder if you could talk a little bit about how you first became interested in the arts and how you made a career out of it.
So I was born and raised in New York City, and which is, a gift in of itself. I'm surrounded by everything arts and culture, but I really grew up immersed in arts thanks to my parents who took me and brought me to everything. I was a young ballerina, but I went to the museum all the museums on a regular basis. I went to Bill Baird's Marionettes, which was this fabulous puppet house down on Barrow Street, Leonard Bernstein's Young People's Concerts. There was really not a week that went by without me being immersed in some kind of art form. I can really draw such a direct line between my childhood and the job I have now. Since I've had this job, while I grew up in the city, I've had a chance to now travel the entire state and to really experience the arts riches across our great state. And in every city, what you really see is that there's these anchor organizations, large and small, that are really providing they're really holding up in some way and creating so much greater opportunity for everyone that lives in those places, whether it's Buffalo or Rochester or Syracuse or the North Country. It's, for someone who's born and raised in New York, to be able to travel and find such depth in different places across our state is just one of the best parts of my job.
Yeah, what a great point to end on. Thank you so much, Mara, for joining me and being a power player.
Thank you, Anna, so much. It's great to be here.